which way was the way out. Excuse me. Oh, we dinged. I'm so glad I went over here and found these extras.
Nature will have its say.
That lightning spell is awesome. Hashtag badass. We are going to level up before we go any further, though. Level up. We can go here, 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 and here. Doe Daughter, he says, just found you and really enjoyed your Destiny 2 review. Thanks for your approach to content creation. You are welcome. This is the day job, so check it all out. We do lots and lots of video games. What's up? So, you know, guys, remember Where's Waldo? This is my wife's shirt, and I don't know if you guys remember Where's Waldo, but Where's Christina? Do you know Waldo from Where's Waldo? Hang on, I gotta show my wife this. She has no frame of reference because that was a like cultural thing from when I was a kid, which was not in Mexico. Where's Waldo? So where's Waldo? Look at his shirt. Look at his shirt. So when I was a kid, Where's Waldo was this series of like books, and they had these images, and what you have to do is you have to find Waldo. Where's Waldo in this picture? And so they have these books, and you would look in the pictures, and you would say, where is Waldo in this image? Like, because many people have the shirt, but which one is Waldo, right? Sorry, I'm making fun of you. Just teasing. ¿Va a descansar? Okay. All right, general feats. I want to do two-handed weapons, so I need to find two weapon. Yes.
Follow me.
How can I help? Yes.
However, let me figure out your spells. What do I want to put in here? More of that lightning and stuff, please. Let's take that creeping cold. And then, yeah, call lightning. Big fan of that. Infestation. Maggots. Now, spike growth. Summon creature 3. I do not know what I want here. Yes. I'm going to get rid of dominate animal. Let's use 2 Call of Lightnings, please. Why should I spell hold animal? Okay, that looks pretty good. Rest and get everything back up. Quick save. All right.
Perhaps so.
Perhaps. To Highcliff, my friends. When do we get? I'm gonna look something up here. Companions, Neverwinter 2. Okay. Quora, sorceress. You meet her in Neverwinter yet. I don't want to allow ads in your stupid site. Piss off. Sunken Flagon. I don't know where the Sunken Flagon is. Then we have Rock Gnome Bard, Paladin of Tyr, a Moon Elf Wizard, Docks District of Neverwinter. Joins during Act 2. Man, that's too far down. Yeah, I don't think we're getting any magic users until we get to Neverwinter. Alright. Okay, we can go to Highcliff. They definitely make you work to get to Neverwinter.
You're risking your entire ship by going out there, Captain. Ignore me if you will, but at least listen to your own men.
We're leaving port right now. Nothing's stopping this shipment to Neverwinter, especially not a pack of lizard folk. What are you lot just standing there for? Bring up the sails! Man the oars!
The fool is risking a ship worth 10 times the cargo he's carrying. And for what? For the sake of a few extra gold for an early delivery.
Sailing the seas is always risky.
Aye, but he's trying to set sail when we've got lizard folk going out of their way to sink every boat coming out of this village. The good captain is a fool to think he can sail out without drawing the attention of the lizards.
Harbor Master! Out there! Looks like the lizard folk have themselves another victim!
And I think we've all learned a lesson here. If I say it's too dangerous to sail, it's too dangerous to sail.
Well, I'm
Right,
guessing
lads,
we're not getting to Neverwinter.
see what we can do to help those sailors. Let's just hope the lizard folk let them swim ashore. Sorry, but I've got my hands full here. Some of the other sailors should be able to fill you in.
Well, like I said, I'm guessing we're not getting to Neverwinter anytime soon because we were supposed to take a boat and
My greetings to you.
Yeah, none of these guys want to talk to me. Neither does he. Who might you be, Grishnak? No, where'd you go, Grishnak? You're a strange-looking group. What do you want? Looking for a ship. You and half the town. Stand and watch while they try to repair the Double Eagle. Alright, so everyone's just stuck here. Where are the lizard folk coming from? Where can I find the village elder? What do I look like, a tour guide? Alright, so we gotta find the captain of his ship. Right, Hector, never win a fight. It's such a great game. Never win or fight is one of the best Dungeons & Dragons games ever. Eduardo. Well now, what is this? Traveling circus? Easy, one of them's a harborman. Like what I care what a swamp farmer can do. Alright, we're not here for a fight.
Feel no.
Hey man, we technically warned him. Kelgar the Crazy. Captain Flynn! Are you the captain of the Double Eagle? My father Tegan said you could help me get to Neverwinter. Got a shipload of cargo right at the docks till the mess is sorted out. Who's responsible for the decks? Lizard folk. Can't you just prepare your ship and leave? Nope. Must be a way to prevent the attacks. Okay. Anyone I can speak to about this? Try the village elder. Adario. I am the only arbor. Do 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 do. What you got? Anything good for me? Don't think you do, and I don't care. Another hour plus one. Ooh, it's dead at Armor Part 2. May end up buying some stuff here. Look at this, El Mata has answered our prayers. Ah, it's good to see you two again. Could use some help again. We still have some money. I'm listening. 2 days ago, our son Rander ran off the old hypothesis with one of his friends. They haven't returned, right? Alright, I'll look for them. It's just strengthening Skynet for the inevitable end. Yeah, so this is an interesting conversation because what you guys are talking about in chat right now. So where we live, the government is implementing a new. So this country is moving towards biometrics for everybody. So right now, everyone in the country So the United States has its own version. As an example, they do something called Real ID. And over the years, they've just been strengthening and reinforcing all the things you need to do to even have any form of like identification. Like, you got to go do this, you got to do this, you got to verify these 20 different things to verify you are who you are and get an ID card. So here, everybody has a number, which every country does it this way. You have a number that's assigned to you. That's your number. And the country is moving towards biometrics. So what they're wanting to do now is by the end of the year, we all have to go in and we are moving from physical numbers. And like I have a piece of paper I keep in a folder, which I've had since I originally got my official residency here 15 years ago, right? And this year, everyone has to go in to the government offices and take that physical piece of paper and upgrade it from a physical piece of paper to a digital version of it, which includes biometrics. So they're doing fingerprints, eye scans. Yeah, it's fingerprints, eye scans, plus the physical piece of paper, and everything's going to be done through an app now. And you won't be able to sign up for you won't be able to open bank accounts, you won't be able to do anything unless you're on the digital ID. Unless you've moved to the digital ID, you won't be able to open anything. So it's like, I mean, on the one hand, yeah, it cuts down on identity theft, but on the flip side, it's surveillance culture 101. Right, but that means every country does it these days. Like, what are you going to do? And it's like, I told Chris, we were talking about it, it's like, it's really one of those things where if you want to live in the modern age and have any sort of, like, if you want to be a part of modern society, you have no choice but to be a part of that. The only other option is to go live completely off the grid in a cave somewhere and not be a part of modern society. But every culture, every country is moving towards all that digital 24/7. Everything's tied in, central banking, Skynet. It's happening, man. Alright, so we have to start with Chandra's farm. Sounds an awful lot like a tavern, but I can't go in there. Yeah, I've read enough science fiction novels and watched enough movies to know that, yeah, it's just a matter of time. But the reality is, too, is like, my job as an example, everything I do is social media. Everything I do is digital. Like, digital banking, making money online. William, speak with Chandra. Yep, so this is another quest to go speak to Chandra. So these are all quests that are going to lead me out to the farm. Anyway, to do what I do online, I have to be 100% on the grid. I have to be 100% tied into the system, otherwise I can't make a living at all. So like, as an example, one of the places where I make money is through a company called Lurkit. Lurkit they run campaigns for game studios and publishers. So when a publisher hires me to do something or has me take part in a campaign, they're oftentimes going to use this platform called Lurkit. So in order for me to be on Lurkit, I have to have everything. I have to have an email. I have to have my services plugged in. So my Twitch account has to link to it. My YouTube account has to link to it. My bank account, bank account is a little separate. Those two things have to hook up, my Twitch and my YouTube. Then, in order to get paid through that, I have to have a separate third-party payment processor, which in this case is Stripe. You can also use, I believe, there's another one that you can use. So in order to do that, I have to have a Stripe account. Well, what do I need for a Stripe account? Well, I got to have my bank account linked to my Stripe account. The Stripe account wants me to have all these different checks of IDs in place to be able to sign up for the Stripe account. So I do all that. Then they link to my bank account, and I have to have everything go through there. What does my bank need to do that? They need me to have all of these digital things in place. Plus, I have to have all these permissions for the digital things to take place. So that whole chain is that's what I have to do, like, to get paid. And like, in order to make money off of YouTube and Twitch, I have to have bank accounts linked, and that requires me to be online in a digital form, and I have to be available with two-factor identification and be able to receive text messages to my phone and be able to read QR codes with my phone and to be able to receive phone calls and WhatsApp messages and all this stuff. So I literally can't make money unless I'm tied into the system to do this for a living. So I just have to accept as an individual, I've accepted a long time ago that in order to be a digital, to be able to make money in a digital manner, I have to just ignore and get over the fact that I am being surveilled 24/7. Like, I just accept that that's the cost of entry to do what I do for a living. Now, the moment that I get the opportunity to stop doing that, sure. But I also accept that that's just the reality that we live in. Like, I'm not going to rail against it because, oh, it's evil. Yes, it's fucking horrible. It's like they know everything. They watch everything. You can't, like, everybody knows everything. Everything I do is tracked online. Everything. So it's like, I just accept it, It's one of those things where if you want to operate in the modern world, you have to do it. The only other thing to do, like, it's getting really hard to just do things like cash. Cash society is, it just depends on where you live. There are some cultures that still do cash society, but most countries have moved away from cash because of people avoiding paying, tax evasion. And also, tax is not a trackable denomination. Cash allows people to do things off the books. And nobody wants you doing things off the books. Nobody. The government doesn't want you doing things off the books. The social media doesn't want you doing it. Everybody wants you to do things on the books so that it's trackable and so that it can be used for data. And theoretically, it's all regulated and nothing bad will ever happen, but just, dude, I've seen way too many science fiction movies to just trust that it's all going to end up perfect, But yeah, there's I can't remember the name of the book. What is it that you need? I was hired by adventurers to show them air on high cliffs. Offered more gold and stupid to say no, that's what went wrong. If I do find them, I'll half whatever they owe you for myself. Alright. There was a very interesting thing. I was watching it last night. I can't remember the name of the guy who wrote the book. But the discussion was on how if you look at the way things used to be, as an example, if I wanted to buy something from China, as an example, like, let's say, I think the example that was used in the video was if I'm a company in Germany and I want to make propellers for ships, and I'm going to buy the metal in China. In order to do that, and then the metal gets shipped to Germany, I make the propeller, then the propeller goes back to China and is used for assembly on ships. So first and foremost, if I want to buy the metal from China, the money, basically, I have to go to my bank, the bank has to go over here, they have to go to here, they have to go to here, they have to go to here, and they have to go to here. There's like 6 or 7 organizations along the way. And every step along the way, every single one of those organizations is taking a chunk of the money along the way. And in the center of that chain is the American banking system, the US banking system. And every way along the way, they're taking pieces. So I buy metal from China, goes through all those steps. I get the metal here, I make the propeller, but now for me to ship the propeller back to the manufacturer, we have to do that whole process again in reverse. So 6 or 8 businesses along the way, they're all taking their cut, and in the middle is the US infrastructure taking their cut. Well, now digital currency. So one of the really interesting things that China is doing is with their central bank and their central currency and WeChat and everything, right? Now, the German manufacturer can have an app which allows them to buy their metal directly from the Chinese manufacturer using the app, using WeChat, bypassing the US dollar, bypassing the entire banking system, and it's from the app to here. And it's in that digital currency that is linked to the Chinese central bank. So we've eliminated the entire US dollar system, and we've gone directly from the point of purchase to the manufacturer, and then they ship it. And this is why the US is in a panic right now over China, because China has set up this system whereby we can bypass the US dollar entirely. And so now a manufacturer can go to China, they can purchase directly, skip the transfers, and skip that entire US banking system and all the transfers, and the wire transfers, and the SWIFT fees, and all that shit. And they can just buy direct. It gets shipped, then they take that item, they ship it back, and it's bypassing the entire system. And that has the previous governments in a panic, because the banking system for the US and UK and EU have all been set up so that everyone's getting a cut of the pie along those 8 different transfers that have to happen. So, but again, if you're going to be on the system that China is using, you have to accept. Well, hang on a second though. You're saying good for China, but then you're also saying I prefer cold hard cash in my pocket as it makes me less traceable. You don't get to have it both ways. So the way China is doing it, it requires you as a human being to be plugged into the system. Like, you must have a phone, you must have the app, you must be using the digital currency, you must be using central bank, and you accept that you are being surveilled, and everything you're doing is going through WeChat and Tencent and the central banks. And but that's the thing. It is a very new and awesome system in terms of convenience, but there is no such thing as being untraceable when you use that system. Flip side is that you can eliminate this BS of 8 different companies taking their cut of the pie along the way. That's part of the problem with capitalism. We're ranting a little bit about global economy here. It's going to be very interesting to see where that goes, because many countries are moving towards that route. Many countries are trying to set up central banks with digital currencies because they're looking at China and saying what China is doing is amazing because it's getting everybody away from the US dollar and dependence upon the US government. But the trade-off is there is no privacy. You must be a part of that digital system. And like my wife was saying last night, she's like, what's next? A chip in your wrist? And I was like, you're goddamn right. The next step is a chip in your wrist. Because right now, everything's done through an app on your phone. Scan a QR code or whatever. We're not going to need that in 10 years. We're going to get a chip in our wrist. I'm going to scan my chip, and it's all going to be done automatically. Like, that's just the logical next step. So I'm all for innovation, but you do have to accept that if you're going to make money in the online space, you have to be willing to sacrifice your anonymity, and you have to sacrifice cash. But I don't like to use cash, and I haven't for years. I'm a big fan and always have been of like, I went paperless like 20 years ago. I haven't had a piece of mail sent to me since probably 2005. Um, I haven't seen a paper check um, in 25 years. Um, right, it's time for someone else to have a go. Exactly, Hector. I'm all for this new system as it shakes the world and we get away from dependence on the U.S. dollar and dependence on that infrastructure because it has not been a good steward. Um, so it's very interesting to see. Um, I would also urge people too. There's some really good content creators who are out of China who are providing some really awesome educational stuff. Like there's obviously scary parts about that government, um, as well as any government. But there are also a lot of cool things that are being done as a society for the people. EMPs are going to fuck everybody. If an EMP takes place, we're all fucked. Like, no one's going to care about cash if the system goes down. If the system goes down, we are back to he who has water and guns is the person who makes the rules for everybody. That's literally what we're going to go back to. If there's an EMP and the system goes down and it's Fight Club style, you know, we're all going back to the days of he who controls the water supply and has the biggest guns is going to be the the person making all the rules. All right, and bottle caps. Don't forget the bottle caps. It's true. I gotta head out, guys. I gotta go take a break, and I'm gonna go watch the most recent episode of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds and get that review out on YouTube here in a bit. And I will be back tomorrow. I might do an afternoon stream today. We'll see how the day goes. But right now, I need a break, and I need some food, and I want to go watch my Star Trek and get the review out. So Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, Season 3, Episode 3. I'll have that review out in the next hour and a half, 2 hours. Then we'll see what the rest of the day holds. Peace out.